Gotta share it around.
Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. No, my eye is not better. Everyone, please comment, like, and subscribe. Comment's good for the YouTube algorithm. I'm coming at you today with the last seat number 6 with my co-host all dolled up from Sharby, and we are going to interview Crypto Kimber from Ladies on Soul. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi.
Morning,
and
Dashi.
So yeah, my I did not tell you this yet, but I have a clogged gland in my eyelid, and it's supposed to secrete oil to make my eye lubricated, and it doesn't. So now I look like Ed from Crank Yankers if I open it. So I think it's best.
Okay, it's called a chalazion.
Ah?
A chalazion?
I don't understand.
Yeah, you'll have to Google it or search it up. Chalazion. And you need to do like a hot compress at literally every 30 minutes. So just like throw a washcloth in the microwave and put it on there until it cools off. I was very susceptible to them. And for me, it was makeup, but I don't know what's clogging that oil gland for you, unless do you use any face products?
No, I mean, this happened once before when I had it was like 4 years ago. I was like super stressed and super busy, and I'm pretty busy now, but I'm not like super stressed or anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's
overproduction in the oil gland. It just gets clogged. Yeah, I've had probably like 4 or 5 in my whole life, but they're painful. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good. So anyway, that's just what I've been doing. I also got caught. I was just telling you in this. How often do you go on TikTok?
Maybe once every few months.
So I had first you gotta like step it up on the TikTok. You're missing everything.
I have you, Randy. I have you.
So there's this every now and then like something viral goes on TikTok, and sometimes like multiple times per week, but you know, a lot of times it's usually every like couple times a month usually. And there's this one song, and it's called the Save Europe song. I didn't know that's what it was called, but it's just like do 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 do. I was like, oh man, that's a bop. And then I saw like the Save Europe song. I was like, oh, what is this? And then I kind of read the comments, and I kind of gather that it's like a anti-illegal immigrant song, like Take Europe Back, because there's like a lot of refugees, a lot of illegal immigrants. So like, all right, you know, it's, you know, I understand that. But then like deeper in the comments, it's just kind of like an excuse for people to be like uber racist. And I'm not gonna lie, the song's still a bop though, so I'm still gonna play it. But they're not gonna take it from me. So yeah, so that's what I've been doing the last 30 minutes. I've been contemplating how to put that into my daily life without people thinking, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I get the pass to play certain types of music when, you know, maybe if I were white that other people wouldn't. Oh, so my last guest that I had on the normal podcast was Jenny Rogers. That was your old mentor. Tell us about that.
She was such a mentor. So I was uber busy. Hero was out of town over the weekend. He went to his best friend since he was like 5, you know, like brother from another mother. And it was his bachelor party. So I was like holding down the fort. And then I was on X and like scrolling, and I see you and Crypto Queen. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I sat and I watched the whole podcast. And then I was DMing you because I was like, so cool. She was my mentor. And you know, when I came into the space, I, like she mentioned, she didn't talk for 6 to 9 months. I did the same thing. But it just so happened the first time I did go on and speak was with her on her spaces. I think it was International Women's Day, X Space. And 5 minutes before, I was like, I was telling Hero, I'm not doing it. I was like sweating and I couldn't really talk, and my voice was like cracking, and I was like, oh shit, I can't do this. So I was like in the closet in the corner, like sitting in the closet. And I was, yeah, it sounds crazy and weird, but she gave me that confidence, right? Just listening to her. And she's very passionate about bringing women into Web3 and, you know, onboarding women into the space. And I really feel like a little over the 2 years I've been here, I've definitely seen more women, right? That's why I was really excited to have Kimber on today, because we get so busy, rightfully so, but just to connect with other women. And if I just try to be like Queen was to me, right? And so when we did go to Toronto last August, the Blockchain Futurist Conference which is actually coming up here in May this year. And I got to meet her in person, and she's just as lovely in person as she was on your podcast. Just a great human, very passionate about the space, and I appreciate her. So if she ever sees this, I just appreciate her, and she brings so much value and helped with my confidence. And so now I hope that I can be that, like doing this with you, right? Be that for other women as well that might be listening, scrolling, stopping, watching on YouTube, etc. Because we're all learning. Like she made a comment about like, I get really intimidated because I'm not as educated on blockchain technology, or say like how tokenomics work, or like this and that. Like that analytical data mindset it's never been a strength. And so it gets intimidating because you're like, well, what if I say the wrong thing? Or what if I screw up? Or what if someone asks me a question and I have no clue what they're talking about? But really, you just find the more spaces and podcasts and YouTube, like more things like this, like we're all just learning from each other, right? Like, so maybe there is something I know that someone can take away. So I think we all have value to add, and it just comes in different ways. So anyway, yeah, super cool that you got to have her on, and that was exciting. So yeah, it was a great one, and you did great too.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I had a what do you call it? I had that when I first started making videos, where I didn't want to have like my face shown. So like the first few Pokemon card videos I did in like 2020 was just like me pointing my phone at the cards, like, oh, and this first edition PSA 10 Blaine's Arcanine is special because
yeah.
And then by the end, it was, and they would be like 4-minute videos, and I'd be like sweating at the end of like I don't know why.
Why do we do that? I know, but I just think like if someone can get something out of this, that's worth it. And like, I don't know, not that like I'm not completely dead inside yet. Like Web3, it just takes like, I don't know, things will happen and like bother me and sit with me. But I think I've learned a little better over the last 2 years how to process. But you just finally get to the point where it's like, well, whatever. I don't know. It's not that I don't care, but it's like I want to contribute to this phenomenal thing that's happening. Like Web3 is like, we're like pioneers. Like we're so early, and like just to be part of it, I'm gonna just do what I can to add my little piece to it out of all of the things. So yeah. And I don't go on video. I always, like today I was telling Randy, I was like, I'm going to go on today. And then like, I have extra time, and then I have like no time. So it's usually because I'm just like, just home from taking all my kids to school, doing carpool drop-offs. I have to do 2 round trips to schools because I have to go to a high school and a middle school, and they have different start times. And then I get home and do like a few things around the house, and I'm like, I'm not ready to go on video unless I came in my robe with my eye mask.
It's like learning to drive in like the winter and the snowy months. It's like, well, if you could do that, then you could drive at any time. So if like you're on camera in like a robe and stuff, then I feel like you can come on anytime after that, and it'll be good.
Icebreaker. maybe next week I'll just roll home and flip it on. Because I feel like it's way more engaging. I want to be able to connect, especially with our audience and all that. So I think it adds a different dynamic. And I'm doxxed, you know, my face is out there. I've done lives before, but yeah, I want to feel somewhat put together at the same time.
I understand. Okay, so getting to our crypto news here, we have a couple things this morning. Stock market be pumping hard today. Goldman Sachs CEO expresses support for President Trump's efforts to renegotiate and strengthen U.S. trade. I guess they're trying to get their. It feels like everyone's trying to get things to pump. Economic advisor Hassett says there was no insider trading at the White House. Like, I don't know if you remember, like a few days ago, when Trump is just like ETH is a really good buy down here, or something along those lines. And then like 90 minutes later, he posts that like they're taking the tariffs and putting a 90-day pause on them, and everything just pumps. It just rips.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. I don't I don't know, and I like him, and I feel like I don't know. I feel like that was a signal. Hey, buy right now. Do all these calls, and a ton of people did. So
did
that's
it excite you personally? Like, were you like what would it take to get excited? Because we've had a few, I guess, over the last week and a half, there was two little like moments where everything started going up. You know, we had green, you know, and then it, you know, it's trickles back, and then, but
yeah.
what would it take for you to like be like, oh, this might be it? Like, I'm excited.
It would probably be three things. It would be China coming to the table, us getting a really awesome trade deal with them, because like they're going to be like the last country to cave in, because they have like the second largest economy. It's going to happen at some point, but I think that it might take another couple months. Who knows? It might take 2 days, but it might probably be prepared for a little bit more volatility. So it'd be that. It'd be an end of a war with Ukraine, and then it would also between Russia and Ukraine, them to sign something, and then it would be the Fed to lower rates. So then if you lower those rates, you're going to have like a ton of money just rip into the market over the 6 months after that. A bunch of that will flow into crypto. So those three things are probably the biggest. Okay. And for the tariffs, the longer term aspect of that is I would like it if they were only for like 2 years, or because if you keep these long-term tariffs on, let's say if I produce, these little tiger ducks, let's say for like, $1 a piece, just making up numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But China is able to produce it for 50 cents a piece. And the only way that people are going to buy my tiger ducks is if Trump has like a 65-cent tariff on it, or 100% tariff,
okay,
to make it so that like, and if I'm able to sell these only because of the protectionist tariffs that he has on, as soon as those get taken off, they're going to buy from China again. So it doesn't really incentivize me to be more efficient and to innovate and try to make it a way so that these are actually sold, like being able to be made at 50 cents like China.
Mm-hmm.
So I would want the tariffs to be on for maybe, or off for maybe like 2 years, but to have a time limit on it to give these companies a chance to be able to innovate and make these products more efficiently, regardless of what they are. Obviously, these tiger ducks are, a dime for 10,000, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah. What about you? What would be your aha moment? Like time to unload all my extra capital.
So it's well, on a personal level, like here's the part where hi Ashok, where I'm my mindset, like it's funny, like I'm in DMs with some friends, and I'll be like, oh, how's the market today? They're like my advisors, because I don't really follow market trends. If for me, like things start running, but it's collectively like over a week or 2 or 3, then I'm going to be like, oh, this is good. Right. I'll get that excitement inside. I mean, we're all here in crypto, I guess, to make money in some way, but like I was really pulled into it for other reasons. So like, I don't know, I have this hope, but then like it's not my driving force. I don't know if that makes sense. So like I don't really, I probably sound like very irresponsible, but I do have a partner who's like very invested in that and kind of just tells me what's going on. So I guess I have the upper hand with that. It's not like I'm just walking blindly. But I think it would have to be like this. I've gotten excited a few times, I guess, but it have to be like a sustainable thing. And obviously the three things you mentioned are very big, and will determine directions, right? I think so. Yeah.
And within this volatility, you have some crazy stuff. Did you hear what happened to yesterday, or Mantra?
Yes.
Were you in that?
No.
Thank
Good thing,
God.
I guess. Good thing, I guess.
Yeah, that was.
Do you think that was insider? Or do you think it was bad decisions?
If I were to make an educated guess, just based off conjecture with like the limited amount of information I have, I would say a bit of both. Because I mean, it was no secret that the team held 90% of the token supply. So you know, like even if this didn't happen, let's say God forbid they got hacked. Okay, well then you have stuff there. This is why the DEVVE exchange I really like so much. It's because you know there are protections against this of theft and loss protection, but for Mantra, like that is a big risk when you have that. You know, a small amount of people control 90% of the supply, and then it seems that they were doing OTC deals, which by itself is fine because you don't want to necessarily dump on your project. So you want to do some OTC deals so you can raise money without having to create sell pressure. I understand that. But then when one part of the team, it was this laser disk, this laser wallet that was given all these tokens over the last couple of years by the team, just dumped all at once. So I don't know if that wallet in particular, like if this was the plan all along, but they dumped like, I don't know, like $50 million worth of the token real quick. And it was enough to make it so that all the people that got the OTC deal, they were suddenly in the red. They panicked, they sold, then retail panicked and sold. So, you know, that's how it lost like, you know, $5 billion in like 30 minutes.
Yeah, didn't it go down to like 500 million or something?
Yeah, it went down to 45 cents. It went back up to $1, and now it's back down to 54 cents. So right now it's like $520 million market cap, and it's got 2.5 billion in trading volume, which is nuts. And then on top of that, it was like a good hour or two before the guy responded, like the head of the team, and then he said, "Oh, hey guys, I just like it was like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time."
Yeah.
And it's like, where are you in the world that you're waking up at 5 p.m.? And like, I understand if it's like New Zealand or Australia or Hawaii, something where it's like middle of the night. But also, if you're running a major project like this, where you're in like the top 30 tokens, you should be keeping New York hours. Like you should be keeping US hours. And that is not something that that should have happened. Now, again, maybe he was doing a bunch of deals for like 3 days for the company, and maybe it is just a wild coincidence that he happened to be sleeping when this all went on. Wildly convenient. I would never touch this token or anyone that was associated with the team, any project that they would be doing. But again, there's still probably more info that's probably to come out. I haven't checked on it in like 12 hours. So
yeah, I think it was about 10 o'clock last night. Same for me.
yeah.
And, you know, I think, well, what happened was he had to talk to people and figure out, oh, what am I going to post? Maybe, you know, like, you know, react, unless that was part of it too. I don't know. That's just like, it's so unfortunate. I couldn't imagine I think I saw a post, from a guy who said he had put in 3.2 million. I think he had $200,000 left after yesterday.
Oof.
And I was just sitting there like, but his whole energy was like, I'm going to keep going. I was just like, oh, yes. I mean, I don't know. For me, I guess it depends on how much money you have. If you have that much money in something, then usually you have enough. In my mind, I would think you have enough to survive it, right? Like you ain't gonna have 3 whatever million in something all in one thing, and especially if you have that type of money. So I'm sure he's fine, but for someone like me, that would, I mean, I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, rough time. Especially on, like, it's kind of one thing if it happens over the course of like the bear market of like a couple of years, but in like an hour, it's like, oh my God, I would have.
One shot. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have
so
been.
many great comments today.
Yeah, we got. I love when people speak in emojis, like unicorn fart dust. Like that is so great. Now I don't
like that, G-Money, because we actually in our TG one time said, what if we had a TG channel where you can only speak to each other in emojis? Like the TG is just emojis, because some of us will talk in emojis, right? Like the emoji comment says everything you need to know.
Yeah.
Unicorn, fart dust.
So I have a so we're gonna have a replacement here. Instead of Kimber, it'll be Pixie, who is also on the team. Pixie is the project developer for ladies.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me just say like oh God, let me go to the ladies Telegram and be like sent you the link. Thank you so much. Meow, meow, meow. All right, and let me go in. Oh God, I was going to double message there. Tammy Hannah saying, "Hey guys," Mr. MC1 saying, "Hi, Randy and Sharby." Meow, meow, meow. For whenever people go in and they comment Dashi, you know, my little dog dot over there, they spell Dashi with an I, and it's with a Y. Do you get that on the opposite, where people spell Sharby with a Y and not an I?
Yeah, I've seen it. Oh, there we got it corrected.
Yeah, got it.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, so Sharby is a character, and then there's another character that is of the female dojas called Shishi. It's taken from the word she shed. I did not know what a she shed was until last year, and then now I start seeing them everywhere.
Yeah.
Do you have a she shed?
No, but my mom wants a she shed. So I got her a sign at Hobby Lobby, and it says she shed.
Yeah. I feel like, what did we say the other day that like I would get along with your mom? Or was that like your grandma or something? I forget what we were talking about, but I think it happened. Was it something to do with she was a whiskey gal?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We were in DMs talking about my grandma always said to take a shot of whiskey and sleep in a cold room. And she lived to be like 98. And she did that every night. She took one shot before bed, and she always slept in a cold, dark room. And she said that was like the golden ticket there. So I do like to sleep in a cold room, but I get cold so easily. So I'm kind of failing at both because I don't take a shot of Jack before bed either. So might need to get that going. Yeah, she was a who, and she had beautiful skin and never looked her age. So I don't know, maybe she knew something I didn't.
She might have. Let's welcome to the chat Pixie. Pixie is a not only a team lead but the project developer of Ladies on Soul. Pixie, how's it going, fam? Meow, meow, meow.
It's going. Can you guys hear me okay?
We can.
So I've never been on this platform before. I was trying to edit my avatar and that didn't work, but I'll get it figured out.
We're here discussing, telling people what a she shed is. She shed, that's what I've seen. It's just a shed that has been converted into a cool hangout spot with lights and beer and wine, just a lot of alcohol.
Yeah, it's like a man cave for women.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, our friend Heather has a she shed. Me and Tammy's and Mr. MC ones, and it's pretty dope. Not gonna lie.
I love
It's
that. I want a she shed, but I want it to be like a library because I'm a big reader. I love reading, so I just want like a cozy space away from the dogs, away from the husband. Make it my little she shed.
I mean, I understand having alone time, but you get away from the puppies too. They're gonna wonder where you are.
Oh, I know. So I have 5 dogs total. 3 of them are rescues, and one of them is the most anxious little pup. If I am outside of her view, she was a street dog. She came up to us at a cookout and we named her Nellie. My husband said, well, if she gets in the truck, she can go home with us. And she was super malnourished, super skinny. And she was about 6 months old, which I know because she had some help getting in the truck. And then we took her to the vet and they said that she was about 6 months old. So we actually moved into a new house over the weekend. And I think she thought that she was just going to be abandoned in this 3,000 square foot house that has, hardwood floors, AC, all of the good amenities in life, but she was just not okay with it. I actually had to give her medicine last night because she was like bug-eyed and panting. I was like,
Oh.
sweetie, we are here with you. Like, it's okay. But she was not okay. She was like, this is not my house. You are not my people. This is not my place. She's better today. Thank goodness.
How does she get in thunderstorms?
She's fine in thunderstorms, which is so crazy. The only thing that she gets anxious about is just if she's not around her people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see that.
Other than that, like she has her own heated blanket and she requires pajamas at night to sleep because I put on pajamas, so obviously she has to put on pajamas. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but doggy pajamas are not cheap. They're like $35 a set. And this girl's got a wardrobe.
Oh,
They
that's
better
cute.
be comfortable for $35 a set.
Well, she loves them. She has to wear them every night, so I guess they are comfortable.
She might like the warm embrace of it, where it kind of like hugs her.
Yeah, I've taken her to the vet because she's like just cold all the time. Like she just acts like she's just like freezing. And she has her own heated blanket. And the vet says that it's probably just behavioral because she was on the streets by herself for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just comforting for her. It's not that she's actually cold. And just to make sure that, we have her heated blanket on a low setting so that she doesn't get too hot because she refuses to get off of that thing at night. Like she has to have it. And if we don't turn it on, she will come and tell us. She'll make us get out of bed and go turn her little heated blanket on low. So she has her heated blanket on. She's
You
such
should
a
get
weird dog.
some. I don't know if you know any screen print embroiderers, or maybe you could look one up. Be like, hey, can you just make me like 5 sets of these doggy pajamas, but with like the ladies onsole, like I don't know, with the hat with the dollar sign ladies on it, or with the meme on it. I don't know who's your guys' mascot for ladies. I'm
So we
looking
don't
at.
actually have like a mascot. We just have like some images and it's like the lips and like they're holding a diamond in their teeth.
Yeah, so that's
Um,
it on the Gecko terminal. It's a bunch of ladies on. So there's like a Bitcoin one in the background.
Yeah,
Um,
and well, that's for a good reason. And that's because I purchased Bitcoin when it was about $13.50 per Bitcoin. Yeah, crazy story. I
Down
don't
in the presence
I don't
of
know if you
greatness.
guys are from the States, but in the States we have a medication called Ambien where you take it
Very
because you have insomnia, right? And my body would like fight through it. So I would take the Ambien and then the security cameras in my house would show me like walking around the house and just like doing random things. And this particular night that I bought the Bitcoin, I started out like I went from the bedroom dragging my blanket with no pants on. And I went to the kitchen and I opened the refrigerator and I grabbed a Taco Bell sauce packet. And then I'm like holding the Taco Bell sauce packet and my blanket. And then I go sit down at my computer and I'm like Bruce Almighty when he's typing. And then I close my computer And then I take my Taco Bell sauce packet and my blanket to the garage, and I fell asleep on a deep freezer. And for a couple of months, I didn't even know like what I had done on my computer. I knew that there was like this new thing on my desktop. It was a file and it was a zipped file, but I figured it was supposed to be there because it was zipped, right? So I didn't even touch it for a long time. And then in 2018, which was 5 years later, that Bitcoin was all the rage, right? Because it went up to like 17, $18,000. And I was like, and I was married to a guy who was in finance at the time, and he was telling me about it. And I was like, I have this weird file on my computer that I've just let sit there because it's a zip file and I figure it's important. It was a Mac. I have a MacBook, so I'm an Apple girl. And I don't touch anything that I shouldn't, right? Because I will be the one to turn my computer into a brick if I touch something wrong. So if I think that it's important, I just won't touch it. And we opened that file, like we unzipped it, and sure enough, it was Bitcoin. It was a Bitcoin folder because Bitcoin wasn't on exchanges back then. You just bought it off this shady website, and it was just a file on your computer that was zipped, and it was Bitcoin. So I've been a holder for quite a while. So that's why the Bitcoin is on the back, and we're actually giving away one Bitcoin. And ladies, we are giving
Yeah, how do you
away one
qualify for that?
Bitcoin at 10 million market cap. And all you have to do is hold 100,000 ladies tokens, which right now is super cheap, right? Because the market cap is really low. And the market cap is low because I have a big heart and I like to do the right thing by people. And I saw some people get rugged in real time on another project. So I jumped in that project and I saved that community from losing all of their money. We ran it back up to 100K. And then I took it to them and was like, all right, guys, the original dev of this project has liquidity. And right now, his liquidity is going to unlock in 60 hours. So we have some choices to make. I know because I've been in the space long enough to see the bad actors that he is absolutely going to dump that liquidity as soon as it unlocks, which is going to tank our chart. So we can pool all of our tokens together and dump the chart ourselves. And then I can launch this other project that I have had in the works anyway. And I can just airdrop you for the tokens that you send me. So essentially we rugged the rugger, but that was okay. He ended up with like $1,200 instead of $20,000, which I was fine with. And I airdropped them on a 10-to-1 ratio because Ladies only has a 100 million supply instead of 1 billion because I can't count zeros apparently. So I airdropped them on a 10-to-1 supply or a 10-to-1 ratio. And of course, they made some money. We took Ladies up to an all time high of right at around 300K. And people are going to trade how they trade. They're going to make money how they make money. And I'm never going to shame anyone for that. So they made back the money that they lost on that other token. And a lot of them sold the supply that I airdropped them. And I'm fine with that because I know in my heart that we did the right thing. And Kimber, Crypto Kimber, was actually part of that project. And she came over to Ladies and she's like my counterpart. And she actually still holds her bag. And I would say probably 15-20% of people do still hold their bag. But, people are going to trade how they trade, and that's fine. But we still have big plans going forward. We've partnered with some people on X. I've reached out to some other people. There's some other partnerships in the works. The first 3 weeks that we were live, we were able to donate almost $5,000 to women's charities and animal rescue charities. So that's
Love the
the big thing with Ladies is we love to give back, and it's a rewards token. So 5% of the tax goes back to the holders, and then 5% is split between women's and animal charities. So, women a lot of times go through some really traumatic things that we don't talk about. And I know that because I'm a trauma nurse, so I've seen it firsthand. I've been through some of those traumas myself. And I really wanted to make a coin that focused on women's charities for domestic violence and sexual assault survivors. And I say survivors because I refuse to call them victims, even though something tragic happened to them, because they survived it. So they are sexual assault survivors. And the other 2.5% of that 5% goes to animal rescues, because I myself have 3 animal rescues, and I actually have a sanctuary that is going to be built. That's what I'm going to use my Bitcoin for. I'm going to open an animal sanctuary.
Oh.
And
Where?
it's going to be in Georgia, which is where I live. And I live in West Georgia. So, it's kind of like, it's pretty far from, it's not really far from the city. It's close enough that I can go wherever I want to go within like an hour or so, but it's far enough away that my animals can make a bunch of noise and it's okay. And I have actually got a CPA firm on board. They are submitting the paperwork to get it registered as a 501c3. And the name of it is Soul Sanctuary, SOL Sanctuary, for 2 reasons. I'm going to use projects from Solana to help fund the sanctuary. And the animals that we bring to the sanctuary are SOL, right? They're shit out of luck, because I don't know what it's like in your areas, but here in the areas that I live, like 2 weeks ago, 18 very healthy young dogs were euthanized at the county shelter just because there's not enough space.
Yeah. It's so
And
Texas is really bad right now too.
it's awful. And like, so I'm going to bring them to my sanctuary and get them spayed, neutered, medicated, get whatever they need. And instead of kennels, we're going to have tiny houses, so that, because the kennel areas that they're kept in the shelters, like that can be traumatizing for them, like they're stuck in this little cage. And I don't like that. So we're going to have little tiny houses, and we're going to have a medical wing for like a recovery room for the ladies that have to go get spayed and the guys that, have to go get neutered, so that they don't just have to go right back into a space with other animals. Like they can take their time and recover and get medicines and whatever they need. And then they're going to have a huge play yard. And then we're going to train them, because they're young and healthy, right? Almost all dogs are trainable. So we're going to train them and then donate them to veterans and people who suffer with mental health issues like PTSD, depression, anxiety, because animals are so good for those things. And I've seen that from the medical side. So we're going to train them for people who suffer with mental health. So I'm kind of all over the place. I have my hands in a lot of things. But it's all for the greater good. And I just want to show people that, crypto can be used for good. It doesn't have to just be people jeeting their bags. It doesn't have to just be watching charts. Like, crypto can be used for good.
It's awesome.
Oh, I have so many questions or so many things to go over here.
Go for it.
First, I think part of the reason why the market cap is as low as it is, I think, is just because of the overall trade war that we have. You still have the war in Russia and Ukraine, just markets insanely volatile. So that's probably part of it. However, we did just have news come in that says that the European Union has come forward to negotiate a new trade deal that'll help markets. So I think in the next 6-ish months, there's going to be a huge turnaround. And as long as the projects can survive until that greater bull market comes in, there's going to be a bunch of money thrown around. I think this is one of those things where and we'll go over revenues in a second, but this is the thing that I would love to support. I made the declaration in 2021 that by 2030, or whenever I get to 100 million, whichever comes first, 90% of my net worth will go to buying land in Madagascar to make them conservation areas, because that's where the most large number of endangered species are.
Right.
So I love what you're doing. So I definitely want to support here. That being said, what do you guys have any type of plan for, like a business to be attached where you can get some more revenues going in, so that this way you can do like any type of buybacks or any type of utility for the token?
So I am actually doing buybacks myself. I was moving over the past week, so I've been kind of absent, but I've been checking in with crypto, and we've been on some partnerships, and like they've been kind of holding it down for me. So I haven't been able to make much movement in the chart. My husband and I, like, we're financially stable. Like, I actually have two full-time jobs because I just don't know how to relax. I'm a trauma nurse, which is 36 hours a week, and I'm also a medical consultant. So for uh, lawsuits, medical malpractice, personal injury, slip and fall, anything medical involved where they pull in an expert witness, I do that. And that's also a full-time job. And then I have my house and my husband and my 5 dogs, which is practically two full-time jobs in and of themselves. But I just don't know how to stop. I don't know how to quit. So I'm just constantly going. And I've talked to a few people. I've talked to one of the big groups here in Atlanta about partnering so that we can we can have revenue. We're also going to have merchandise that is geared towards animals. So like collars, scarves,
The doggy
leashes,
pajamas. The doggy
doggy
pajamas.
pajamas, absolutely. And, some cool stuff for women too. I've been in some discussions with a house here locally, and I don't want to name the name of it, but it's a house for ladies who need a safe haven. And they can go there with their children and just be safe from their environment. So I've been discussing some things with them about what kind of items, ladies need so that we can do some merchandise and do like a buy one, send one kind of thing. So you buy one and then that same thing gets sent to this safe house for ladies. So that's kind of cool. Other than that, I really haven't had time to figure out how to generate more revenue other than just trying to get our name out there as much as possible. A lot of people are really, really excited about the sanctuary and training these animals and giving these animals a new outlook on life and then donating them to people who are in mental health crisis. And we're not just going to give them the dog and then forget about them. We're going to follow them and help them get the resources that they need. My husband has been a Marine for 12 years, so I have a soft spot for military, and I've seen firsthand the the nightmares and the PTSD that people come home from after they have fought for our country. So no matter what side of the fence you land on when it comes to war and conflict, pretty much everybody stands behind our veterans need more than what we're giving them. So we're going to help them find resources. And also, like if they need dog food, okay, let's do it. Let's get you some dog food. Let's make sure that you have everything that you need to succeed.
So first off, tell your husband thank you for his service. Second off, tell him that Air Force is better, and we'll laugh about that when we meet up
That
one day.
would call my husband, but he would call you the chair force, first of all.
Damn right.
So, like he loves the banter back and forth between militaries. I asked him what color crayon is his favorite. And then for Valentine's Day, there's this company called milltreats.com, I think is the name of it. And they did a crayon mold made of white chocolate and food coloring. So I got my husband all of the primary colors for crayons, and that was his Valentine's Day present. And he said his favorite color is red. So
Can you please send me that link so I can get
absolutely, for sure.
my
And it comes in like an MRE type package. Yeah, it's super cool. But I'll definitely send you the link for it. But yeah, he loves to banter
yes.
back and forth. His entire family is military of some kind. Some of his cousins were actually in the Air Force. Some of them were in the Army. I think 2 were Navy, but the majority of them were Marines. And once a Marine, always a Marine. So I say were because my husband says were. He doesn't. He doesn't. He says he's a former Marine, even though it's a lifestyle. But
Oh yeah.
I just follow his lead. Whatever he says, that's what I'll say. And people are like, "That's not how it goes." And I'm like, "That's exactly how it goes, actually, because happy house is what matters the most, not your opinion."
I how did you deal with like his dark humor? I'm imagining he has dark sense of humor.
Oh, for sure. I'm a trauma nurse, so
Oh, so you're used to it. Yeah.
yeah, like I have probably darker humor than him. because I deal with like gunshot wounds and suicides and impalements and missing limbs, and like I work for a level 1 trauma center, so we see the worst of the worst, and you have to have dark humor to get through it, you know.
So so you guys are obviously not going to be scared of falling charts because you've seen real death up close. So red candles and your bags, it's not going to scare you off to sell.
No,
Um,
absolutely not. Red just means we need some band-aids and we need to fix it. That's all it means.
it reminds me of an episode of I think it's The Simpsons, or maybe it's South Park, where someone's going in like a gunshot wound, and this doctor's like, I need 50 cc's of ketamine and then something for the kid as well. And I was like,
Yeah,
oh.
for sure.
I I so I'm very liberal when it comes to um chemicals. And have you guys taken a look into what psilocybin or ketamine can do for PTSD and depression?
So because I'm in the medical field, I've also seen the good side of ketamine, right? Like ketamine is great for not just people with PTSD, but autistic, amazing. Like, and I don't know how it works for autism, but I've seen it work for autism. And I want to actually dig into the pharmacology of it a little bit more. But I've seen the good side of ketamine, and I hate that it gets such a bad rap. Just like
Yeah.
fentanyl does too, because you see it on the street, right? But what people don't understand is like fentanyl is an amazing drug when it's used correctly, like in surgeries or like conscious sedations is what we use ketamine for. It does this weird thing with the eyes, by the way. But like when you've seen it work in like in theater, so in the OR or in the trauma room, you know what it's actually meant for. And then you can watch that grow out to PTSD, anxiety, depression, autism. And all of those things are just because there's some kind of wires crossed in the brain. And you just need a little bit to get it back going the right way. So I am 100% on board with medicinal use of those things and maybe some off-label use too, but not the street kind, but
Well, not the street kind for
off-label.
fentanyl, because that'll get you.
And
Um,
that will actually go through your skin. So you don't have to ingest it in any way. If you touch it, it goes through your skin, just so you know.
I did not know that.
Hmm.
I'm very curious what ketamine does for autism though. Like I obviously I assume you're talking about like the severely autistic, like can't focus, and then when they take I like what happens. You said you've seen it before.
Yeah, and I actually read an article not too long ago where, Elon Musk has autism. He's on the spectrum
Same.
and he uses ketamine. So, and I saw that just a few weeks ago. So I want to do some more digging into it to see what's going on pharmacologically that helps with autism and ketamine.
In your unit, I don't, because your trauma. So but I guess in your hospital, do they have like a quantitative electroencephalography that we can hook ourselves up to while we take ketamine and go through this and take a look at our brains?
Well, we're not a research facility, but I know that there are research facilities out there where you could hook yourself up to like an EEG and see what's going on
We
with
got a
brain
risk one.
activity for like when you're taking these medications. And I know that there has been studies done because I did find one. I just haven't had the time to read it because I've been moving. But if you give me like a week, I can get that information for you.
Yeah, let's get back. I'm so curious about this because I love Lucy. I love psilocybin. I'm not gonna drag all dolled up into this because her kids might be watching. So
All good, Randy. There is a really cool documentary on Netflix. It wasn't for autism, but it was the for addiction, the use of ketamine to help people with addiction, and it was very interesting. I cannot remember the name of the documentary, but it goes through like 3 people who use ketamine treatment to cure their addiction. I mean, one guy was an alcoholic, I think, for like 30 years, and he quit drinking. So anyway, I know there's some really good documentaries out there too.
For sure. And I think when things are used correctly and monitored appropriately, a lot more can be used for good than what you think. Like, because we think that it's bad, right? But and especially because on the streets, everything is bad. But a lot of that stuff can be used for good if it's done correctly. Just like cocaine. Do you know that cocaine is still used in medicine?
Yep.
Blew my mind the first time I saw it. I was like, what is happening? But on the street, that's not something you want to mess with, you know? So almost everything can be used for good in some kind of way.
Yeah. Lidocaine was given to me when I had a really bad gash in my, I don't know, I don't think you can see it. Yoshi's tongue like kind of goes over it, and so does Kirby's little air thing. But yeah, I know. So I've had lidocaine, and then I've obviously used that on animals. I was in the veterinary field years ago, and yeah, so lots of uses for that medically.
And a lot of uses are actually in dental for the cocaine derivatives. Obviously,
did
because
not
you
know
want your
that.
mouth to be numb, right? When they're doing anything to it.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But for like lacerations and things like that, where we're doing stitches or staples, obviously lidocaine, bupropicaine, those things work wonders. But the
Okay.
majority of the cane families is used in dental. That was also shocking to me when I was in nursing school. I was like, really?
Yeah, the addiction. I'm so curious about the ketamine stuff to fight addiction, because the reminds me of that. I don't know if you guys ever saw Rugrats back in the day.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, awesome. So do you remember the episode where, and so obviously Angelica loves cookies and it's like her favorite food, but she gets like super addicted to these cookies. She has to go to like the hospital because she eats too much. And then the doctor's just like, put her on bed rest and just tell her no more cookies. And then she goes to like Tommy and like the baby. She's like, you have to promise me, no matter how hard I ask, no matter how much I threaten to clobber your baby brains, you can't give me any more cookies. And they're like, yeah, we promise, that's fine. Because she's like an alcoholic or someone that just like, just did too much drugs. Like, I can't do it anymore. And then like a day later, she's like, give me the cookies. Where are the cookies? So she tricks Chucky into telling her where they are. And then she's running with these cookies, trips and falls. And the cookies go into like this laundry type of soap. Like they're all dirty and soapy. And she's like, I don't care. And she eats them anyway. And when you're like a kid and you're like 8 years old, you kind of don't really get it. But then when especially if you're like a veteran and you like can't stop drinking, then you're just like, okay, I get that. I get that episode now. So really curious what ketamine can do for anti-addiction.
Yeah, give me a week or so and I can definitely report back.
My man. Although mentioned what she mentioned Netflix documentaries.
I was looking for it though, FYI, and I think it was about a specific celebrity. So what I'm going to do is I couldn't find, like, a simple Google search did not bring up the one I watched. So it's probably like under something else, because he does go in and they hook him up, and they do like the EEG, she said it's called, or whatever, and treatment, but it doesn't come up on a simple Google search. So I'll find the one I watched, because I think it was a specific celebrity or something.
Have y'all seen the telepathy tapes?
I haven't.
It's about these like super autistic kids that are like so autistic they're nonverbal. However, when they put the kids in a separate room, like down the hall, like many rooms away, like it's this big facility, and they put their mothers in another room, and they go and they just show their mothers like the number 6 or the number whatever, and the kid will, like, most of the time, and they've done this across like dozens of different super autistic kids, they'll somehow be able to to say the exact number. It is so heckin' nuts. I don't know where she went. She gone. Um, well, hold up. It's back. It's back to me and you. We are here holding down the fort yet again. Have you? So yeah, the celebrity tapes are wild. Oh,
I
there she
haven't
is.
seen this. Oh, there
I'm
she
not
is.
sure
Oh,
what
and
happened.
also it was Matthew Perry's documentary. That's where
Oh,
they go. That's where they go deep into it because he took 27 shots of ketamine.
That's kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was a heartbreaking documentary, but it takes a deep dive into ketamine, but it's on his documentary. That's where it was
no.
that I watched. Anyway.
Anyway, the super autistic kid. I don't know if Pixar heard the end of that. They were able to guess the numbers that the mothers were shown, like 90% of the time, and they did it across dozens of these kids. So I'm curious that if the ketamine goes in and it'll like help them maybe become verbal or do whatever, I wonder if it'll dull that particular sense. It's like a sixth sense that they have.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of room for research.
Yeah, so heckin' curious. Anyway, on the ladies' soul business here, I don't know if you're familiar with what happened to Mantra yesterday. I mean, all dolled up, we're going over that before. But one of the things that led to its demise of 90% down in like an hour was that like 90% of the token supply was held by the team. Can you go over a little bit about the ladies' token supply distribution? Like how much is held by like the top 20 holders and how much are distributed everywhere else?
I honestly haven't looked at any of that in the past week, so I can't give you up-to-date numbers. I do know that about 55% of it was held by the people that were airdropped. And I know that a
Okay.
lot of them have sold. I myself, like, I hold 15 to 20% roughly, I think. So, like, I'm definitely holding the floor, and I'm the kind of person that I will go down with the ship. I don't care. Like, that's my job as the captain of the ship, right? Um, and I'm not making any money off of it myself. It's solely for the holders and the charities. So, one of the wallets that I have, like, it gets rewards, and those are actually going to a friend of mine whose family is from Palestine. So the rewards that I get, I either A, throw back into the chart, or B, I'm donating them to my friend to send to his Palestinian family. So I'm making no money off of ladies, and I never want to make any money off of ladies because I feel like that would defeat the purpose of what it is. Because it's for charity and it's for the community. And I'm okay. Like I said, my husband and I we're financially stable, and I've got quite a bit of Bitcoin in my cold wallet. So I don't need the extra money off of ladies. There's no fear of me selling for profit or anything like that, because that would defeat everything that I'm trying to build.
Okay, so now that we know that even if you don't have like 20% just yet, because I mean, you said you buy back all the time, so let's assume you get there at some point. There are how many tokens in circulation?
100 million.
Okay, so there's really only going to be like 80 million that'll be up for grabs because you're going to hodl that 20. Now, obviously, I'm cool with you making. I feel like most people should be cool with you making money because that's how you might be able to grow the business. What it is, like, let's say if you have these, you're making extra. I don't know. Let's say like a couple grand a month eventually, and then through that, okay, well, what do you do with those profits? I feel like as long as a lot of or a decent amount of that goes back into growing ladies, like saying, okay, we're going to do some marketing, we're going to do some physical merch that we're going to invest in, and just kind of help vertically in it. Like even if you have, instead of going to like a manufacturer and saying like, okay, we have ladies shampoo and it's going to cost us, $6 a bottle if we get 1,000 bottles and we sell it for $15, whatever it is. If you're to go in and say like, well, I know someone that can build this like themselves, and we're going to hire them, and they're going to work for the company. I'd be I would want you to make money so that one, it incentivizes you to keep on doing what you're doing.
So
But
when I say that, like, I'm not making any profit off of it, like the rewards that I get, they are being used for like promos and marketing, or the one is going to Palestine, and that wallet is completely separate. So it's any profits that would be considered mine are being used for the growth of the project. So it's not that like I'm not taking the profit at all. It's just being thrown right back into the project in some way.
So I do have an idea, and I don't know how this can work. Because what SHIRO is doing is and now granted they have like a couple million in volume every day. They're like an $11 million market cap, but they have this thing called the green wall, and they can do it because they have a lot of extra funds in there. Is that if you go and you have like $100 buy there and you hold it for 2 weeks, they give you an extra $50, and you could do it as many times as you want. So you could go in with $1,000, do 10 separate buy orders of $100 each. You'll be getting an extra $500 if you hold that for a couple of weeks. Now, obviously, that'll be great for the charts and price action and just getting a bunch of volume there. And the bad thing, I guess, about it would be that if after the end of X amount of weeks, some of those people might sell. But if they go into hodlers' hands, then just you get kind of those free buy orders. Now, obviously, you have to go in and give up that extra $50. But if it goes into hodlers' hands, then that's a way that you could really get those buy orders up, get the volume up. And these are just an idea. And then maybe not too much sell pressure at the end of those few weeks. It's just the idea I'm taking from SHIRO.
Are they also a rewards token?
All up, you want to answer that? I don't know where she is. They're doing a couple of things. So they have a comic. They have physical stuff that they're doing. And as far as the rewards, I mean, that is what they're doing for this. So they're a rewards token in a sense that you have these for this event. Otherwise, I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if there's going to be any type of. I think there's going to be some type of staking involved with them, but again, that's for all up. I think she has.
I was muted. Sorry.
Okay.
I know on the reward, but they do so many initiatives. It's almost like a rewards token, right? There's consistently things going on to reward the community, and then the staking platform is coming. So, and you know what? I know Hero will comment if I misspoke there, but I think all of these initiatives, like they're very hyper focused on growing that community. They have an amazing community over there. But that the green wall, that's running right now, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, Pixie, I know you said before you'll give away the Bitcoin, obviously split up into holders when you guys reach a $10 million market cap.
Correct.
Okay, and then I know Kimber had mentioned that when you get to a $1 million market cap, she'll launch her OnlyFans. Is there any other thresholds of, well, we're doing this at 500,000 and we're doing this at 5 million, or are those the two only things that are public right now?
There are actually a few things that community members have offered up on the table also. So there was another one at 1 million market cap, I think. Yeah, I think it was 1 million market cap. One guy said he'll give away $1,000 worth of SOL to someone. And then there's just a community initiative where there's a giveaway for $1,000 worth of SOL just to an active community member. So just someone in the chat who's all the time in there, all the time grinding, hyping up the chat, just really being an active part of the community. There is a giveaway for them also. And I think it's at 1 million market cap. I would have to go back to be sure. But like I said, I've been out of it for like a week. And before then, I had surgery. And then it's just been a wild ride. It's been a rough couple of weeks for me. But I'm good now, and I'm in my new place so that I can get all the way back into it and completely lock in. So I can add some more little contests. We've given away contests. We did a buy contest. So the person who got the biggest buy for like 24 hours. We doubled it for them. And we've done that a few times. We've done some giveaways for like shill contests. So the person who shills the most in this time frame, they got 200,000. But we're just all the time coming up with like little things just to keep people involved, keep people active. And, you know, life happens to everybody. And I feel like life has been lifing for most people here lately. So activity drops, but then it comes back and then it drops again.
Life do be life, and damn, she keeps she keeps hitting that wrong button.
Well, I just said that this morning. I said, I think there's something in the water in the whole world. Like, be life in.
Oh yeah.
I think that's important though. Like when we have these podcasts and we get to meet the people from these projects, core team members, and you get to see that transparency and kind of humanize the project in a way. Amazing stuff, right? That they're doing, the mindset there. But I think you nailed it with a lot of these projects. I mean, I think they all have the best of intentions. And that research or those dives come in to be like, are they utilizing their capital in a healthy way? Just can you make it through the next maybe 6 months, right? Like that's at the end of the day, the ones that survive are the ones that, and so you have to say like, okay, how is this project utilizing funds? Are they being responsible with the capital they do have? Like, because right now, right, it wouldn't make sense to just dump a lot of money into marketing. Like everything's kind of like settling a little bit because, well, there's fear in the ecosystem and people are just kind of sitting and watching. And so, yeah, I what a great project. I'm really excited that Pixie made it because they have some really good initiatives and sounds like a great group, like, passion, right? And it's a slow cook.
Yeah, I think that I don't really expect the price to stay down. It's like a $14,000 market cap. I don't expect the price to stay down here, but if one of my tokens pumps while the price is still down here, I'm just gonna drop a bomb on their market, and I'll be like, all right, I don't know how I would be able to do that without the price going up like 80% or like 100%. And you'd probably have to do like small $100 buys.
Yeah.
Be on Sol. I don't really trade a lot on Sol for anything. I don't really have a ton. I don't know what else do you have on Sol that's big bag?
I'm such a diehard Sharbian, y'all. Did you know that?
Of course. I just meant if you had anything outside of Sharby.
I do. I have, on Sol. I actually have to look. When I was doing the hot seat, I would buy little bags of projects and they're sitting there, nothing big, right? I just would support the chart, $20, $30. So I actually have quite a few. It's not in the wallet that's coming up, so I'd have to go through all my wallets. But we've diversified really well. And I think it's important for everyone. Like, yes, Sharby is my conviction, and it's where a lot of my investment has been made. But at the same time, when I see projects like Pixies, I think to myself, like, this interaction today has allowed me to humanize like behind the PFP, and I love it, right? Like I want to go get a bag and support. So yeah, I've diversified a bit, and then in the other, like I think I have 3 projects that were 3 or 4 that were heavily invested in. But I was speaking on a space yesterday, and I felt like at Sharby, it's like getting in on a pre-sale right now. We're just very solid at the moment, and so. There are going to be always buys and sells, and it is what it is. But at the end of the day, we're getting close to the end of our development and our platform, and that's really exciting. So I'm going to be doing a lot of spaces here coming up. I'm excited.
Pixie, we were just talking about you. All good things. All good things.
All good things, yeah.
And what I would really want, I think that might be able to help, is just getting a mascot. Like Sharby has Sharby, daCAT has daCAT. VeVe doesn't have anything, despite it doing several $100,000 in volume per month. Does not have a mascot. But I would, yeah, if you guys got a mascot, and then you could make memes of that. You know, you could chuck it into a comic or whatever. I think that. Do you guys have any ideas about one?
No, I haven't even thought about it. And I apologize. My phone died. I didn't even know my phone was dying because I haven't been paying attention. I've just been in AMA after AMA. But no, I haven't given that really any thought. This is the first time that anyone has brought that up. So I'll definitely think about it and see what I can come up with. Maybe not just one mascot, but several, like several rescue animals.
My first
Just have
thought
like
went to
a mascot parade.
you could have a couple of characters. I mean, in the daCAT world, in the comic that we're writing, we have like several main characters. And I think I messed up a little bit because daCAT is awesome, but there are 3 other characters that are just like so good, and they kind of show up daCAT. They kind of outshine, and I feel like people will be more interested in their stories as opposed to daCAT. But you know, we'll see. Have you heard of VeVe?
I haven't.
They're the world's largest digital collectibles platform. They do high-end 3D models for licenses like Star Wars, Universal, MGM, Marvel, Disney, all that. And they just they got Blackpink last year, but they just have, I don't know if you guys know who they are. They're probably the most popular girl band in the world from South Korea.
Okay.
They just had more of those recently. We are getting daCAT and Sharby onto VeVe later this year via the comic. And actually, we're going to hopefully do that with SHIRO too. I just have to get the lead animator to get that. But this is why I would want you to get like a mascot, because if you have characters on there, or if you have characters and we could use 1 or 2 of them and we could work out a deal with it, then we could actually get you on the platform as well.
Yeah, that sounds cool. I can come up with something. I just need to get back in the swing of things a little bit and get my little crypto office going. Maybe I'll turn that into my she shed, make it my crypto space. But yeah, it's definitely something to think about. Like maybe 1 or 2 of our little rescue animals, we can make them mascots.
I
Maybe
would love
Nellie
that.
in her pajamas. We can get her in some ladies' pajamas and she can be a mascot.
That would be cute. I'm down for that.
We really embraced AI generation with Sharby, but when we rebranded Sharby, we decided just on like our PFP is basically our logo, right? Our branding logo, like that is Sharby. So when we create any infographic or whatever, you're gonna just see that picture of Sharby, which took a long time, a lot of renderings to get to, I recall, but that's Sharby, and that's the brand Sharby. But when you see the art that we put out in posts, or there's Sharby can take on she takes on a lot of different looks, right? But I think it's good to have one specific, like say your PFP, that is your branding, that is the Sharby brand. And then you can, because I love the one that you showed, Randy, at the beginning, like with the Bitcoin logo, like those are great images, and it's appealing to the eye. But then maybe just have like one thing that's like the brand, and then you can do all the fun, whether it's AI or hand drawn. You can do all the art that kind of just for your posts or infographics, marketing. We worked on what Sharby looks like in the comet, and so you can take on different looks.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I'll work on. I'll get something together. I feel like I'm leaving this with homework.
You're like, I need to do a ketamine research paper. I got find out about this, that, and rebrand or a logo.
Yeah,
And this is
100%.
like my third AMA for the day. I'm also on the dev team of another project. So I've been, like I said, absent for about a week. And I've done several AMAs already this morning.
Which
So
feels
I've
like
got
a
like
year,
a
right?
list of things that I need to work on.
You take a week and you're like, oh, I feel so disconnected. I'm like, nobody knows me. I'm like, I know nothing. Whenever I take like a few days off, it always just, I feel.
Yeah, like I joined one chat earlier and they were like, oh my gosh, Pixie. And I was like, guys, I haven't been here in 3 days.
3 days. Yeah, exactly.
It's not like I died. I've been quiet. I've been busy.
Busy. Yeah, I know that feeling. I know that feeling.
There's
I see that
yeah.
Jay, the cool cat, is really excited for me to be here. So hello.
You're a celebrity. Yeah, we thank you so much for being here. I know this was totally spur of the moment. I think that we just had our times mixed up with Kimber, and I'll get her, I think, on the podcast at some point. But thank you for filling in, or else it would have been me and Sharby all dolled up just talking about whatever.
She sheds.
She sheds.
No problem. I appreciate you coming into the chat and saying something about it. I didn't know that it was on the schedule, or I would have worked it in a little better, been a little bit better prepared. But I think it did okay. Oh my gosh,
great.
My dog just jumped in my face.
We just kind of, me and Kimber kind of set this up over like the weekend. She was on a space and she mentioned ladies, and I don't know what she mentioned to get me to be curious about it. I was like, oh yeah, that's interesting. And then we but it was just over the last couple of days that we did that. It wasn't a crazy thing, but again, glad you're here.
No, Kimber has done a great job filling in for me the past couple of days, and she actually moved like the week before me. Also, my dog has decided to join this chat, so you hear her panting in the background.
Oh, you got to show us your pupper.
Well, okay. Give me just a second. Okay, stop. She's a trained protection dog. Let's see. How do I turn my That's not necessary. Kimber, what are you doing? So this is my Kimber. And she is a Belgian Malinois. She's a trained protection dog. And she's also SARS trained, so search and rescue trained. And she hears me talking to strangers, and she doesn't like that.
Oh, gotcha.
Because she hears something that she can't see, and she gets all up in my face when that happens because she thinks that she needs to protect me from my phone.
I understand that. I love the Malinois. Those are great. Those are great working dogs.
Yeah, she's a little crackhead, but I love her. She's sweet. That's why she's dual trained in protection and search and rescues, because they have so much energy that they have to have a job. And it doesn't matter what it is. Like for a little while before we got her SARS trained, her job was to help me with the laundry. So I would like drop wash rags all throughout the house. And when it was time to wash the linens, it was her job to go like pick up all the wash rags and bring them to me. And she would do it every single time, and she wouldn't miss a single one. But that was part of her job. She maybe didn't realize that I was the one leaving them out for her, just so that, it could be some form of mental exercise, but it worked. So we got through it.
Yeah. Do y'all have anything? We've gone about an hour now. Do y'all have anything to go over before we end it and just talk off camera for a bit?
I think we've covered everything with ladies, but I'm cool to stick around for a little bit. I do have another AMA that I need to jump over to at around 1:30, but I can hang out for a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to do one more thing. Just tell everyone that if everyone goes to the link down below and they go in and they sign up for the DEVVE exchange, it is possible that we go in and get your token on that exchange when it rolls out later this year. Most likely candidates now are Omi and SHIRO because they have that volume, they have that stuff. But if you do make a loud enough splash, like if the Sharbies, like y'all have 27,000 followers over on X, if y'all make big enough noise, get that volume up a little bit, then you'll be able to likely do that. And if the charts look good, if Pixie and Kimber and everyone goes in and really promotes the heck out of Ladies on Soul, and this 300 people that are here go in and say like, yeah, I'll grab a bag. Green candles, get more green candles. There's a chance that you guys are also able to get on that exchange later this year, depending on certain things.
And another cool thing is to be in the running for the Bitcoin giveaway. It only costs you 100,000 tokens, which is pretty cheap right now, but it won't be cheap later.
How much is that right now?
I can't tell you because I can't go to the chart or I get kicked out of here. That's what actually just happened. I was trying to go look at the chart to see what that costs, but it's like probably under $50 for sure. So if you go in and grab just a $50 bag and just forget about it, just forget that it even exists. And then when our market cap reaches our goal, I'll scour the blockchain, and the rules are you can't transfer it and you can't sell it. So you just have to buy it and forget it for a little bit, and then you're in the running for 1 Bitcoin. So like a $50 purchase versus the potential to win over $80,000. And that's like current prices, right? So who knows what it's going to be when our market cap gets higher.
That's true. What I'm while you were gone, I was telling all balled up that one of my other tokens, whether it's DEVVE, OMI, Definity, Flow, Illuvium, whatever, whenever it goes crazy, I'm gonna drop a bomb on Ladies, and I'm gonna pump it up. I'll go
I
in
appreciate
and
that.
yeah, of course. And if I'm able to get a bag at these prices, I'll probably have to do it in a bunch of different buys because if I put like even just like $1,000 on it, and that's like 1/16 of the market cap, it's probably gonna go nuts.
Right.
So I'll probably do it in a bunch of different buys. But if I can get it at around this market cap, and it does go to 1 million, I'll get like a Ladies tattoo. But that's if I can get it at this market cap, and then it goes up to 1 million. So at the 1 million, we'll have several things. We'll
That's
have
cool.
me
You
getting
should
a tattoo.
make sure to post that in the Telegram so that
Well, I want to get my
everybody
bag
has.
first.
Okay.
and,
Okay.
and then
When you get your bag, you can make the post.
yes, and then we'll have lots of reasons to celebrate. All dolled up. You got anything to finish it?
No, other than I would love to connect more with the Ladies and Pixie, and see them around. I was telling Randy, I feel like I'm here all the time, and then you hear of another project, I'm like, what closed loop system am I in? So yeah, I hope that we can connect more, and I'll join the Telegram as well.
Yeah, that would be great. I am all over in this space. I feel like I'm being stretched pretty thin. But I love it at the same time. Like I've got a lot of people that, okay, Kimber, you don't need to be on the oh my gosh. Did you
Also,
close it? No, you didn't close it. I just don't know where it's at. Okay. Sorry. Kimber decided that she wanted to join in on that and tell you that she would love to connect. My
yeah,
Kimber, not crypto Kimber, not the crypto
this
Kimber,
is
but my
great.
Belgian mother-in-law Kimber.
And doing the podcast with us like this, right? It's like, I think being selective on those spaces, I think it's awesome to go on the same spaces consistently. You get those people, but then you have to also say like, okay, what audience do I want to speak with? Like, or where am I, maybe I can open myself up to a different audience, because I think that it's diversifying even the people that you're speaking to, can just bring that exposure that might be needed, right? So yay, I'm glad you joined us today, Pixie, and shared the project. And
Absolutely. I appreciate the invite. I'm happy to be here and would love to connect with you guys. So definitely jump in the TG. It's a little bit quiet sometimes, and then sometimes it's just absolutely rowdy and fun. So it goes both ways. But we love both kinds, right? Like we love it when it's quiet. We love it when it's not.
Of course. And again, we'll hang on for a couple minutes after we end, chat off stream a little bit. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. This has been the last 6. Goodbye, everybody. I love y'all.